my name is Abby Cooper. I am a middle grade author of True Colors, Friend Fiction, Sticks and Stones, and Bubbles.
Hi there, I'm Gianna from Family Fun Twin Cities, and this is the Let's Go Do Fun Stuff show. Abby Cooper writes some of my favorite middle grade books. Of the four she has written, my favorite is Bubbles, and I'm currently reading True Colors, her newest one that'll come out in May. Seriously, I really appreciate these books. As well as Abby, who I got to sit down with at Amy's Cupcake shop in Hopkins for a truly delicious conversation. Okay, so tell me about your journey to become an author. I feel like I did know you before you published.
Yeah, how did we know each other?
I think you were about to publish.
Yeah.
And I think one of, the what's it called? One of the community of authors.
Yeah. Probably from like the author event.
Yeah.
The Kidlit Enthusiast Club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because even before I was an official author, I was still like all about the Kidlit events and the signings and the shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I hear ya.
Sticks and Stones was published what year?
2016.
Okay, then Bubbles is your second.
Bonkers, because
it's almost
feels like yesterday
ago.
And it's almost 10 years ago. What? What is time? And then Bubbles came out in 2017.
And then did you have a baby after Bubbles, or was it after the next one?
So then I got married.
Okay.
Then I had this book child, Friend Fiction.
Okay.
In 2019. And then in 2021, I had my human child. Not to be confused with my book, Children. Right. And then my next book, True Colors, will be out in May. May 7th, 2024. Save the date. May
7th, 2024. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
What a day.
May 7th, that's like Children's Book Week.
I know. I didn't even plan it that way. That's awesome. I know, it's fate.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what happens. Sticks and Stones is about a girl named Elise.
Yep.
I just read these books. I really like them. At least these two. A girl named Elise who
hasn't read these two, not like she didn't like them.
Right.
I liked these two. These two could have been better.
I have no idea what these two are like. We'll let you know. Just kidding. So Sticks and Stones is about a girl named Elise who's in 6th grade.
Yes.
She's got the skin condition called CAB, where good words make her skin feel great, and bad words make it itchy and hurt.
Yes.
And how she deals with that.
Or doesn't,
or both, or grows. It's all about growing. Then Bubbles is, I can't remember her name. Hold on, I'm getting there.
Oh my
Sophie.
Gosh. I just blanked on her name. I'm like, wait, what is her name?
Sophie.
Am I getting old? I can't remember names.
Has something like suddenly
scary.
pop up. Literally. It doesn't happen before the book starts. It happens during the book, and literally bubbles will pop up above people's heads, and she can see their thoughts.
Right.
How disconcerting would that be? But
right. I like to take a vote when I talk to kids. Like, how many people, if you could actually have that power, would you want it or would you not want it?
Right.
What about you? Would you want it if you could have it?
No, I would not want it because I like to tell my own story. Like I don't want to know what they're actually thinking. I mean, I do, but I want them to tell me.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what Sophie figures out.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a lot of information, but there's no context, and there's no, like, just being able to get additional information without coming off really creepy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So that, and again, she has to go through her journey of figuring out how she's going to deal with this and deal with people's thoughts about her.
She learns
about
a lot about communication.
Yep. She's like, oh, I didn't understand that.
I just made assumptions.
That wasn't the full story, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Never.
Nobody.
No. So that's, and she's got a couple of friends that really love her.
Yeah, I had fun writing those friends. I just decided to make them really big and delightful. They're some of my favorite characters, I think.
The side characters? Yeah. Okay, so that's these two. Now let's talk about Friend Fiction. That's the third one that came out, you said, in 2019. Yes. Okay, tell me about Friend Fiction.
So Friend Fiction, honestly, the idea came about because I had finished revising Bubbles. I was like, okay, time to write a new thing. What's the new thing going to be? I don't know. I missed these Bubbles characters. Bubbles was super fun. Bubbles was awesome. Bubbles. And then my brain was like, isn't that interesting? How, like, sometimes when we write or read something we're really into, the characters kind of start to feel real. Because I kept thinking about like Raphael and Sophie, and it's like, I wonder what they're up to today. Like, I don't want to write something new. I want to think about these guys.
Yeah.
And that thought kind of spurred Friend or Fiction, because I was like, what if our favorite characters actually came to life and could hang out with us?
Oh my goodness.
And so that's what happens, is that the main character, whose name I totally know, it's Jade. It's Jade. She likes to write, kind of like me, and she writes these stories about a girl named Zoe. And in the stories, Zoe and Jade go on adventures and just do all these fun kind of best friend things. Jade is a little lonely. She doesn't really have a best friend because she lives in a town where people come and go a lot.
Okay.
So she's a little lonely. So she writes these stories where she has this really wonderful, consistent best friend. And some things transpire, and Zoe actually comes to life and moves in across the street. And Jade figures out she needs to keep writing stories in order for Zoe to basically know how to be a person. Like, she kind of gives Zoe directions. Like, Zoe decided to eat the food instead of, like throwing it in the air and then dancing like she just doesn't care, Zoe does not know how to be a person. So it's up to Jade to tell her. So Jade also learns a lot about how we communicate and, friendship, and how it might be kind of fun to be able to essentially control another person and have them do what we want all the time, but maybe that's not like what real friendship is.
Yeah.
So it's a lot about that, and it's also a lot about writing. I always get asked for tips from young writers, which is awesome. So I wanted to.
So it's kind of a handbook a little bit.
I mean, I tried to throw in some tips in there so kids who like to write can maybe get inspired and get some suggestions for when they get stuck or encounter problems, like Jade does, and awesome. Like every writer ever does.
Yeah, right. It's day 4 of writer's block.
Seriously.
Okay,
400.
So, yeah, good point. So then this is the one that comes out May 7th, 2024.
Look how pretty she is.
It is really
Isn't that a cool
pretty.
cover?
It is.
The designer crushed it.
How does that happen? Like,
magic.
It's all the publisher, right?
And they go to town, and he just did a beautiful, beautiful job conveying so much about the book in one illustration.
It's so pretty. Okay, tell me about True Colors.
So True Colors is about a girl named Mackenzie who has a rare condition that I made up, where her emotions actually manifest as colors that appear around her body. So if she is angry, there's going to be a layer of red just chilling around her. Happy, I think, is green, plaid, blue, yada yada, so on.
Okay.
But the twist is Mackenzie. I mean, it would be kind of hard enough being a person in the world with that. But Mackenzie lives in this sort of utopian town called Serenity, where it's been specifically designed to just get away from all the parts about the world that suck. Like, traffic's annoying, so they don't have traffic. Crowds are annoying, so they don't have crowds. Serenity just has happy, fun things everywhere. Like, you'll just walk down the street and there's a bouncy house or a chocolate fountain or
a
cupcake, like, just there for the taking. So she lives there with her family. And Mackenzie is under a lot of pressure because of where she lives and just because of the culture around her. She's under a lot of pressure to feel happy and to have that show up, because she has a great life. She has everything she could ever need or want. The town is all about positivity, kindness. It's great. But she still finds herself having difficult and varied emotions all the time. Like, sometimes she's sad despite everything she has. And sometimes she gets frustrated and disappointed, so on and so forth. But she is still really determined to follow the Serenity way and be positive and appreciative and grateful. But then someone comes to town to do a documentary about it, which gets Mackenzie thinking more about her feelings and about the town's kind of guidelines, and just starts kind of questioning everything. It's super weird, because when I write, I generally, like, when I'm writing the main character, I'm thinking about, like, kind of my own feelings, and like I sort of feel like the main character. But I've recently switched over where it's like just because of like my age and my life situation, it occurred to me one day, I'm like, wait a second, I'm not the main character, I'm the mom.
Well, okay, so I just want to say for all the adults, I know these books are written for kids. I know that you also know that all ages will be reading them. But currently, we're going through something really hard in my family, and these were like the perfect books to pick up. Because I wanted to read, but I needed it to not be...
Not like too heavy duty.
Yeah, or even like adults going through things. It was like, oh, yeah, this is big for you as a 13-year-old or 12-year-old. But I know you're going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like I can read these books and I'm like, and the emotions are still real.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still like, oh, I remember that. And you write about like her mom and I'm like, oh, yeah. Yes, a book of my own. It started with you on Instagram.
Just being like, you know, it's occurred to me, I have like all of these shelves of books that I'm like not actively using. And they're good quality books. They're in great condition. Like, I should share the wealth. Like, they don't all fit in my little free library, right? You know, as much as I tried to cram.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been involved in some Facebook groups lately that just try to help people in need with various life items. And so I just, for funsies, you know, posted, does anyone need some children's books? I'd be happy to just send a few your way. I was expecting, you know, a couple messages. I got 50. 50 that first post? Oh, wow. And they all had, you know, I didn't really ask for much detail, but they shared the stories. They just volunteered with me. Like, you know, we are in a homeless shelter. My son had to leave all his books behind, and he's a big reader. And just, oh my goodness, people just volunteered this info to me. And so it was like, how could I choose? I wasn't just going to like send books to 2 of them and call it a day. I needed to send books to all of them. Yeah. And so I started a little spreadsheet, like this is the age and this is the address. And, you know, one thing led to another. And now a book of my own has shipped books to, I think we're at like 400 families across the state of Minnesota. Wow. For a total of around 4,000 books. Wow. With at least 3 per child per family. So yeah, it aims to get books to kids who don't own them, because there's something so powerful about owning books. Like, this is my book. It's mine. Yeah. I can make notes in it. I can read it as much as I want.
Everything about this gives me the warm fuzzies, right?
Right.
I'm sure for you, you're like, this is lovely. I love it, but it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. But I keep reminding myself, like, it's fun.
What if it was Benny, right? Like, you'd want this for Benny.
Yeah.
So she's had, since October 2023, 400 people have received books. And that means...
You really can't find the floor in my office anymore. It's just the best kind of chaos.
Your husband's like,
right.
This is lovely and also terrible. So, okay, 400 people, and that was how many books about? You said 4,000?
I'd say, I guess, around 4,000. Okay. Yeah. I have the official math is on my website.
Okay.
So, good. You can check that out. And I also have a little map on the website that shows all the different cities books have gone to.
Is it right now it's around Minnesota, you said, but mostly concentrated
It's definitely mostly in the Twin Cities, but... you know, I've done my best to try to spread the word through social media and just through different educators I know in different locations. And so there have been just, you know, south, north, like, the aim is to all get all of Minnesota.
Okay, I love that. I love it.
It would be really cool to eventually, like, send books to every city in the state.
Yes.
That's
I love that goal.
Yeah. So if you know somebody in a random city in Minnesota who like needs books,
who needs books, or like knows people who need books, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
what are fun things you like to do, whether it's in the Twin Cities or not, in general? Reading,
obviously. Well, and along with reading, we've actually been on an adventure to try to visit every single Hennepin County library.
Are you in Hennepin County? That makes sense.
Okay. I think there's like 70 some total. There's a lot. I want to say we've done like 25.
I think it's on our website, actually. I think we have them mapped out.
Yeah, and it's so fun because for me, just to see different libraries and like, but for Benny too, for my child, like every single one has different things. Like no 2 libraries are the same. They all have different other toys. They have just different things to play with and see, and different aisles to run through.
Right.
Like they're all different. So that's been really fun to check out different bookstores or different libraries. We also like to check out different bookstores.
Yes.
Because we love to support those independent bookstores.
We have a plethora of great bookstores.
They're so good. Mm-hmm. They're so good. And some local bookstores have generously donated to a book of my own too. Shout out to Avant-Garde Bookstore in Anoka. They are awesome.
Okay.
And they
that's so great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So fun talking.
It's the best. I love
I'm excited to let people know all about a book of my own and your new book and all your other books.
And we're going to be having events at Red Balloon and Wild Rumpus.
Okay, perfect.
We'll the first couple weeks in May. So hope
to
see you there.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wasn't she awesome? We could have talked to her all day, but we are having another bonus episode of Let's Go Do Fun Stuff to give you more information about a book of my own, because it is incredible. And everything that she has done with this program has been amazing. Family Fun Twin Cities provides a weekend family fun guide that divides into regions of the metro. We also have a highly curated calendar of the family fun you can find on any specific day. We have all the links available in the show notes if you are listening to the podcast, or in the description box if you are watching on YouTube. And now it's time to highlight our weekend top 3. It's the last weekend for the Royal Canadian International Circus. This year's all-new spectacle Under the Big Top will be presented in 17 shows running April 12th to the 21st, and it's at Maplewood Mall. Royal Canadian's modern circus thrills spectators of all ages with acrobatics, daredevils, and other feats of skill in the ring from generational circus families who come from all over the world. Use the promo code FFTC when purchasing general admission tickets online, and you can get 2-for-1 pricing. Keep in mind the special deal is good for general admission. The Eden Prairie Eco Expo is happening this Saturday at the Eden Prairie Center. The Eden Prairie Eco Expo's Family Fun Zone features baby goats, pollinator information, games, and coloring. This is a free event happening, like I said, on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The last thing we want to mention for this weekend top 3 is again on Saturday, April 20th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Minnetonka Fire Department will be having a sensory-friendly open house. This open house is designed to let those with special needs visit and explore the fire station with smaller crowds and without lights or sirens. So there will be no lights and sirens, but fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars will be on display. There'll be an inflatable slide. You'll be able to meet a firefighter, and there will be cookies for all. And did I mention it's free? And now it's your turn to go do fun stuff.
Publisher.
Oh, look, it's you.
I know, it's me. Oh my gosh. So my 2-year-old, he's figured out that my face is in some books. And so now every single book in our house / the world, he goes to the end and he goes, find mommy, find mommy. And then he's so disappointed because like mommy did not write.
Mommy wrote 4 books.
Write all the books. Mommy did not write Chicka Boom Boom or Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And he's like so sad. He's like, where mommy? Where mommy? So no pressure, but I clearly need to write a lot more books. Yeah.